Hey now, I'm your host, Kristen Ford. Welcome to Spooky Season Songcast, Season 2. Our special guest today, Lorie Jo, has an incredible story that she heard from her very own sister. You know, I think college students and young people, they often don't get enough credit for the things that they know, the things that they think they can do, and the things that they think aren't the way they should be, that we've all kind of settled into just going through the motions and accepting things the way they are. I'd say that special age from 17 to 21, the world is so new and everything is a giant adventure and learning opportunity, but you think you know everything. So it's super great. It does really hurt when you mess up in all these ridiculous ways, and there's so much to learn about relationships and this and that, but there is something to the adventure of being a brand new adult out there in the world, at college, maybe making some friends, having that wonderful school experience. I went to college for a couple years and never did graduate. Sorry, Dad. But maybe they'll give me an honorary degree if I get famous enough. Hey, that and the Hollywood star that somebody's gonna piss on and then sleep on is really something you can look forward to. That cap and gown is just a hit or two away. Anyway, so I was living in Chicago, going to college, and got priced out of the dorms that were downtown, so I wound up moving out to the west side, to the west side, like Central Park and Armitage. And there were really no white people to be found over there. And I mean, to be fair, I'm not completely white, but I'm pretty white compared to everybody that was running around this neighborhood. A lot of Central American folks, a lot of very short people shopping at the Spanish language grocery store. And it was an awesome experience. I dug it. The apartment was really cheap. And the woman I was moving in with as her roommate, she had a spare room. Her roommate moved out in a hurry. They didn't explain to me why. And she was Haitian. And I was like, cool. She was doing this thing with her boyfriend where, like, they would only wear white clothes for, like, an entire year. Which, you know, as somebody who bleeds every month, that sounds like an absolute fucking nightmare. But good for them. Of course, whatever they want to do for their self-expression and religion is cool with me. You can wear white all year if you want. Maybe chime in if you know what that's all about. But anyway, she told me when I moved in that there was just one rule of the house, and it was, don't mop the floor with warm water. I said, okay. I mean, usually I wouldn't call myself like a huge mopper where like that's my top. Yeah, let me mop the floors with a nice hot sudsy bucket of water. I'm more of a Swiffer gal, or hey, I swept, it's fine. But if you are gonna mop, you know, of course we didn't have any like rugs in the place, and there were some hardwood floors, so I was like, okay, cool, cold it is. I guess my instinct would be warm water, but absolutely cold every time, no problem. Another time I came home from work and there were a bunch of chicken feathers and blood in the sink and the whole place smelled like incense, and I think she had some shaman come in and try to do like a cleansing or a sacrifice or something wild happened during my prep cooking shift that day where I was out and about. I came home and whoa, it was weird. And then I'm pretty sure my roommate, her name was Noelle, she was like never ever there. She never stayed the night there. Every once in a while she would come and like grab some clothes and then like leave. She just was hanging out with her boyfriend mostly. Boundaries, I get it. But you know, I had this eerie feeling the whole time that I was in this apartment. Like there was something trying to push through the wall. My bedroom wall. It was like there was a presence, a very strong, very upset, full of anger, full of rage, full of sadness. A very strong presence trying to push its way through the wall. My brother came and visited me during those couple months I was staying there, and he felt it too. But I made it out. I remember Noelle and I came back together one last time as they did the walkthrough. We had to clean the refrigerator better to get our deposit back, but yeah, nothing scary happened. Nobody never woke up with bruises around my throat or anything like that. I think I might have had some crazy dreams, but also, when you're that age, the world is an adventure, and sometimes it's a bit scary. So today, let's hear a story from the Midwest. Instead of Chicago, we're going out into Kansas. Nothing for miles around. Take it away, Lorie Jo. And keep it locked right here on Spooky Season Songcast.
My name is Lorie Jo Bridges, and this is a spooky story. So, I grew up in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. Mostly Kansas and Oklahoma. And I am the youngest of 3 children. My sister is 6 years older than me. And when we lived in Kansas, we lived in rural Kansas. We lived in Topeka, Kansas, and we also lived on the outside of Topeka, Kansas. So we lived in the country, just outside of the city limits on 15 acres. We lived near the county line of Jefferson County and Shawnee County. And my sister went to school right out of high school to a place called, I might get this wrong, but I think it's called Highland Park Community College. It might be Highland something else Community College. But there's a dorm there that had co-ed living within the dorm, but it was really like an apartment complex, to where, if my memory serves me, and I could be wrong about this, you might get callers or people telling you I'm totally out of my mind, but I feel like the apartment complex hosted men and women, and this is the early 90s, so they didn't have really anybody else other than men and women, and they shared floors, but not actually rooms. So it was a co-ed in the sense that the rooms were not shared, but the floors were shared. So it was more like an apartment complex. And my sister had 2 other ladies living with her. Each of their dorm rooms, they had a mutual, so if you walk into the apartment complex and you go to that room, you walk in, and ultimately it's like a 3-room apartment, right? And it's got a communal living space with 3 rooms. But each of the rooms also has deadbolts, because it is like a JUCO. It's a junior college. It's a lot of people coming and going. It's a co-ed dormitory, so to speak. And there were rumors about ghosts and hauntings. I'm getting a little icky here, talking about this.
Remembering it.
Yeah, and also I wasn't there, but just like I know, because my sister is intuitive. So she was with her friends, her dorm mates, I guess, really. Who knows if you're actually friends with them, and I don't remember, that was so long ago. She was with her friends, and she would lock her bedroom door, I guess, maybe not. But then there was also like the dorm lock. So with the rumor of the ghosts and everything, she came home one day in her privately locked room. She felt really crappy. I don't know if it's crappy, that's the word I'm using now. She felt an energy. And she looked around, and photos on the wall had been turned upside down. They were topsy-turvy. And she saw a shadow of a ghost of a little girl. So there obviously was no little girl, but she saw a shadow kind of like running frantically in 360 on the wall. Like around her, if that makes sense, 360, like the shadow kind of on the wall. Like she's freaking out. The little girl, the ghost, is freaking out. The pictures are topsy-turvy. My sister is already inclined to feel these things. I know not everyone is, and some people don't believe in that, but she is super inclined for the other side. And she kind of just took it for what it was, even though she heard the stories that were obviously like through the halls of the JUCO. But one night, these were the kind of things that were going on in her dorm room, and things that were unexplained. And one night, she woke up, and there was a child sitting across her chest, choking her. My sister could not breathe. The child was choking her. And every time my sister tried to call out verbally, the child was singing and sang louder. Every time my sister tried to find breath in her lungs to call out for help or to sing. And this child sat on her chest and continued to choke her. And my sister was screaming out and calling. And she says, I don't know what it was, but I knew I had to fix my necklace. And my sister had a cross necklace that was resting. When you rest, your necklaces relax. The heavy pieces go to the back. You often have to adjust your necklaces. And so the cross was literally sitting behind her neck. And this child is on her, choking her. She can't breathe. She can't get a word out. She's wanting to scream for help. And she adjusted her necklace so the cross came to the front. And the child disappeared. My sister was able to breathe in and call out. And she sat up quickly, as obviously anyone would do. And she ran out of her, not only her dorm room, but out of the apartment itself. And she contacted her boyfriend, and they together talked about this. And it turns out my sister actually had bruises on her neck from someone squeezing her neck.
Holy shit. Documented.
I mean, this was like the late 90s, so there wasn't actually like cell phones to, like, you had to have like a 110 or like a Polaroid. So there wasn't, we don't have documentation of the bruises, but my sister is 100% with it.
Did she go back to that room?
She dropped out. And unrelated, actually, that boyfriend passed away at that college just shortly thereafter. My sister witnessed a robbery. She was threatened. He drove her home to our parents' house, which was a long drive in the middle of the night, and he fell asleep at the wheel on the way back to the college and passed away behind the wheel. And so that's unrelated to the story, but it adds to just how crappy it is. And also, here's the deal. If you're not in tune, then you don't know. Great. Ignorance is bliss. When you are in tune and you don't know, you've never had anyone teach you, you've had a parent tell you, that's devil's work, but you can't stop receiving the messages. That's just what it is. And what do you do with that? Like, yeah, you make a podcast, right? You tell a story in a book, you tell a story in a song, you create a show, you do anything to get your message out there because it's legit and it's real. And even if no one fucking believes you, I believe my sister, I believe that shit totally happened to her. I have also felt the call from the other side, although mine is definitely not as strong as hers, but I feel it in other ways because I plug in other ways, right? Like we're musicians, right? So if it doesn't come to us in music, how does it come to us? It comes to us in storytelling. It comes to us in dreams. It comes to us in washing the dishes, and we zone out and we get this vision. Like, it's gonna get you. It's gonna get you.
So did anyone else see this this girl, and like, was there rumor throughout the dorm or anyone else who had lived in that room that you'd heard of this? That your sister had mentioned. I'm sure she probably wanted to distance herself from it.
I think her roommates were probably, I honestly, that's a great question, and I honestly can't tell you the right answer to that, but I think, or not the right answer, but the actual answer, without asking her, I think her roommates were also spooked. I think there was a really forked up energy going on in there, my sister was already dealing with a lot, and when Darren passed away, she just was like, "This is just not for me, and I've got to be done. Yeah, I've got to be done." And she.
But since that night, did she go back and sleep in that bed again, where she got choked out by a
absolutely
ghost?
She did, because she was in rural Kansas in a JUCO in a dorm. Yeah, she had to sleep there again. And actually, the whole thing with Darren passing away was that, so my sister witnessed a robbery at like a gas station or something. Maybe it was like a ice cream shop. I can't remember what the storefront was, but my sister had witnessed a robbery, and it came out. Kansas is a very small town. I know that's a state, but I'm telling you, it's a small town. Even though it's 800 miles wide, it's a small town, and they will get you. And they knew who my sister was. They knew who had witnessed the robbery, and my sister had already been in cahoots with the police, or whatever you call that. Like, she was gonna, like, say who, she was gonna be a witness or whatever. And she had actually been threatened by the folks, I guess, like witness tampering or whatever you would call it. And keep in mind, like, yes, for the listeners out there that might not think Kansas is a big deal, it's actually like Topeka, Kansas, where I grew up, is actually one of the highest crime rates per capita in the United States when I grew up there. And they actually have a huge Blood and Crips, and it's actually one of the most segregated cities probably in America, to where, like, literally the Mexicans live on one side, the blacks live on one side, the whites live on one side, and then Fred Phelps, who hates gay people, live like right in the middle. And although he died a zillion years ago, his camp is still there kicking it, and they hang the American flag upside down half-staff all the time. And
that's like an anarchist thing?
Yeah, they have a banner. They're in the middle of downtown Topeka. He's just a hate group. Like, it's just a hate group. So this is the city that I'm talking about, and this isn't where my sister went to school, but this is adjacent to where she went to school. And 45 minutes to an hour drive back in the day when the speed limits were what they were. She was outside of there, and it was called Highland Park, Kansas. I think Highland Park Community College, I think, is what it was that she went to. But anyway, a lot of shitty things, a lot of really shitty, bad things, as far as social and then also actionable behavior. But she did go back to sleep in that dorm. It was not good. And when she told me that story 25 years ago, maybe, I got goosebumps and I got sick to my stomach, because I knew what she was saying was real to her. And she's not a sociopath, she's not a psychopath, she's not a dementia person. I knew what she was talking about physically happened to her. Period. And I feel like that's maybe where some people get a little sidetracked on apparitions. Like, do they have to experience both of us at the same time? If they're able to come into our dimension, can they just taunt you? Like, why do I have to be involved? Because I'm here in this 3D real? Like, that's silly, right? Like, if they're able to come in and out, can't they do it how and to whom they want? And who are we ever think that we know what capability they have because we can see something through a spectrum on a freaking, prism.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. I think they can taunt anyone at any time.
What do you think she wanted? The little girl.
I think she wanted justice for her death, and my sister, if you think about the scenario, she's choking my sister. So that's probably what happened to her, right? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. She was choked. Maybe she was beaten. But maybe this is the way she has control from, non-physical to physical world. She was aggressed. She wants redemption for being aggressed. So she wants control over the situation.
Well, thank fucking God your sister had that necklace on. Because, literally, thank God, because this could just be another, we can't explain it, college kid, probably partied too much,
Yeah.
They died in
their
dorm.
sleep.
That's weird. Fuck.
Well,
It's
and
crazy.
who knows what it is? But I'm down. I'm down.
How's your sister now?
She's still pretty connected, but she's doing
To the
great.
little girl in the dorm?
No,
Okay.
but to it. And when I know y'all can't see me now, but I'm posing my fingers all to the sky in an Italian gesture to it. This is the wheel. This is the machine. And we are all tied to it. And I think the thing to remember is that your experience may not be the one that's next to you. And because we all have different gifts, that's okay. And there's nothing wrong or faulty about anyone's experience.
I love that. That's beautiful. And I'm also mostly super stoked that your sister got out of there alive.
Yeah, she has some crazy stories, but yeah. One time she fell out, down the stairs and out a window and dislocated. I'm not kidding you. She fell down the stairs, out a window. And she had a daycare at the time, so, all, the kids came running to her, and she, my sister, she's a champion. Anyway, we could that for ellipses.
She's alive now.
She's alive, and
She's doing well.
She's got 2 beautiful new grandbabies. She's doing great.
I love it. The legacy continues. Well, Lorie Jo, thank you for your amazing spooky story.
Thank you for offering a place to just be me.
I love that. I love you. And I'm scared shitless about ever going to Kansas.
Don't go. Blair Witch Project.
Was that in Kansas?
No, but there is a place right outside of Topeka, Kansas that is a Satan church, supposedly.
A Satan church?
So the zip codes in Kansas are 666 ... So growing up, mine was 66617. There's 66616, 09, 03, whatever. So they're right outside of there, near Hutchinson, Kansas. There is a place where it's the White Witch kind of situation where there is believed to be a church that has a gateway to hell, and it's an old abandoned church in a field or something. I haven't gone because honestly, the energy is so thick with just the title and the name. I can't go.
It's called what? The gateway to hell? Not to make you repeat.
No. I actually I haven't lived in Kansas for over 20 years, so I'm actually struggling to remember. But it is a 100% real folklore, if not a actual genuine experience thing that people have in Kansas. And if I texted Amber, she would tell me right away what it was called.
666 Kansas.
But yes, the zip codes on the east side of Kansas all start with 666. And also, I will send you information about that scary ass fucking situation. That's it's a bee, maybe Kansas. It's going to be great. We're going to have all the information. It's going to be...
Well...
It's going to be like Trump. We're going to have all the information.
Well, Lorie Jo, thank you for your spooky story.
I love you to the end.
And, I don't know. Is there a song of yours that fits this story?
I mean, I kill people all the time in my music. What more do you want?
And here's some song that rhymes with murder from Lorie Jo Bridges.
Dirter.